Sure that we're live and everyone can see us. How are we looking? All right, hello everyone, and welcome to the Survivor Palisades Episode 2 Aftershow. I'm Emmett, the host, creator, producer, and editor of Survivor Palisades, and today we will be breaking down the second episode of Survivor Palisades All-Stars. Also, if you do want to check out the exit interview for this week, you can go do that. It was posted. You'll hear me talking with the second person voted out, which, spoiler alert, is Catalina, which we'll be talking about today on this podcast. Rest in peace, Catalina. This is a very sad day. But before we start talking about it, let's meet our esteemed panel of guests. First off, we have Hunter. Hunter, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm sad. I'm sad for Catalina. I've been thinking about it since the episode came out, so can't wait to talk about it.
Hunter, what does golden roots and bloody leaves mean to you?
I have no clue. I felt very seen when they couldn't decipher the clue because I was like it feels straightforward, but then I was like always looking in the background, and I was like, I have no idea. So,
All
it means
right.
something.
Next up, Bella Rose. Bella, how are you? Bella Ross. Bella Ross, how are you doing today?
Good. I'm doing good. Justice for Catalina, my girl.
Have you eaten any rice cakes, carrots, or almonds today?
I have not. Actually, I've had some coffee though.
Amazing. Me too. I'm caffeined out. All right, and last we have Baylor. Baylor, have you flew too close to the sun today? How are you doing?
Honestly, I have. I've been up since 6 a.m. Had to do some family photos, but we're here right now, and it's been a mourningful weekend. It's been sad. So I haven't ever since Catalina was out. It's been sad, but we're here to talk about it. I'm very excited.
Yeah, well, let's jump right into it. This was a pretty crazy episode. Very like relationship driven. The pacing sort of went down a little bit from the chaos of last week. We really got to peek and see sort of the like social strategic prowess of the Yara tribe, which is very, very different from Saleh, very juxtaposed in how they play Survivor. But let's start with the beginning of the episode. Let's break it down. We leave off with Dylan completely blindsided by the gauge vote. He gets the episode title this week. To hell with it all, he says. Let's talk a little bit about Dylan in those opening moments. Let's just dissect Dylan this episode. And, right after the challenge, he loses. We see Vanessa and Dylan sort of have an altercation. It was not all sunshines and rainbows. They were going at it. Talk to me a little bit about that, Hunter.
I love that the chaotic dynamic of this tribe continues to exist, and they're just like they are not afraid to say what they're thinking and how they're feeling, and they just go at each other. It creates excellent TV and makes the relationships very interesting as well.
Anyone else?
I feel like that was so funny. All the energy I feel like Vanessa had for Gage kind of just transferred to Dylan in that moment, which was kind of funny.
Yeah, because I just he got tied with his hand. He got caught with his red hands open because he's the only one left who voted.
Yes.
But it's just awkward for Dylan. I feel bad for Dylan, so it's just kind of something he had to deal with. But he's okay.
Yeah, we see Vanessa's just looking over while he's doing his confessional. I guess he didn't whisper it quiet enough because he was he was pretty strong with that quote, and it definitely came back to bite him in that context. Flew too close to the sun, played too hard, came on too strong. Goodbye, I believe, is what he said in some context. What are we thinking about the Saleh tribe from this opening moments of this episode? We don't really see them break out into their groups again. They talk as sort of a whole, but we see Abigail say a few interesting things, even Ella Rose say a few interesting things. What do we think this tribe is right now?
I think with Dylan finding the idol, especially, it puts this tribe in a really, really interesting spot. I already thought that there was a potential for the girls splitting and trying to pull Dylan over, but now that's all guaranteed to happen. And so the inevitable war between Vanessa and Ella Rose and Anna and Abigail is going to be really interesting to see. So I do hope they go back to tribal before merge.
Yes, I do hope they do. I think it will be very messy. I think that will be awesome to see. But I also think it's going to be cool if, I'm wondering if they're going to kind of stick together during merge because it's just one more tribal to merge. So I'm wondering if they're going to be Saley strong or they're going to try and intermingle. I'm assuming Dylan's going to try and intermingle with the other tribe, but I could be wrong. I'm just interested to see where the lines are going to be drawn and what's going to happen once we merge. But I think the tribal before that will be very interesting if Sele loses, though.
Do we know
Yes,
for sure it's one more tribal until merge? Sorry, Bella.
no, you're good.
Because Bailey, you said there's one more tribal till merge. Do we know that? Okay, yeah, I was like, I wasn't sure if we knew that for sure.
I
But okay,
didn't.
good to know. Curious.
There is a historical precedent, but
Okay.
anything can
Okay.
happen in Survivor
Oh,
Palisades.
okay.
I think it's going to be very interesting, especially with Dylan having the idol. I can't remember if this happened in this episode or it's like in the preview for next episode, but someone kind of confronted him about
Mhm.
it. So I'm kind of curious, like, how that's going to go. If, like, they're trying to work with him, like, why is it, like, it seemed kind of confrontational, which
Yeah.
was interesting to me.
Yeah, let me actually pull
honestly,
up that
I think-
soundbite for you while you keep talking, Baylor.
Yeah. I honestly, that's like for Dylan, that's not a bad thing. If they assume he has the idol, I think this is a rare occasion with them knowing he has an idol makes him even more powerful in the position he's in right now because they know for a fact that they can't just kind of gang up on him and play it safe. So I definitely think Dylan's in a very good spot for the next couple episodes at least.
Bella, that's a really good poll. I forgot about that line from that initial teaser. That
Yeah,
hasn't happened yet. That's very smart.
I'll pull it up right now. Here we go.
especially if the next.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay,
No, go ahead. Go for it.
especially if there is only one more tribal to emerge. I feel like that's gonna be good for him because he knows he can at least get there and what. Yeah.
Yeah. And does Dylan have any past relationships with anyone on the other tribe?
Yeah, great question.
for-
So Dylan played in season 1 and 2. So in season 1 and 2, Abigail was there, Anna was there. In season 2, Anna was there, and then Sean was there. So Sean would be the extent of that. In terms of outside relationships, Dylan is one of the lesser connected people coming in. I don't think that he really knew much of anyone from his like personal life here. Him and Chloe have like the faintest connection. Like Dylan's sister was like friends with Chloe's sister, so a very inadvertent relationship there, but not anything really direct. Really quickly, let me play this soundbite that we're referring to about the idol. It is from Anna.
I think Dylan found the idol. You have the idol. I know you do.
I hate the way it's looking.
We'll leave it there. So Anna, bringing the entertainment back as always. Yeah, let's dissect where we were with Dylan and his relationships. Let's talk a little bit more about that.
I'm thinking about like where Dylan's gonna go on that blue tribe if they return to tribal. My gut has been saying with Anna and Abigail just because he does have those past relationships and also that potential conflict with Vanessa. And so I've been assuming that these past relationships are going to come more into play, and they haven't really yet. I guess except for Sean and Stratton, which we can talk about later. But that's kind of where I'm thinking it'll go.
Yeah, I think honestly, he might do that. I'm hoping what am I saying? I'm hoping he goes with Ella Rose and Vanessa though, because I'm just hoping Ella Rose is able to use her little magic, her mist, and pull Dylan to her side because like, I don't know, I'm a little nervous for Ella Rose then if he's gonna go with Abigail and Anna, because it's kind of like I'm scared if he goes with Anna and Abigail, they're going to be like, why would we take out Vanessa when we can take out Ella Rose? And then I think Ella Rose might be in trouble. But I mean, that's also underestimating the power of Ella Rose, which a lot of people do. So I do think if they go with Anna and Abigail, I do think Ella Rose is in a tight spot. But hopefully she might be able to pull Dylan and take out, I don't know, like Abigail or Anna.
Let's talk a little bit about.
I'm hoping that
Yeah,
he
go
goes
ahead,
with Ella
sorry.
Rose.
My bad.
I'm hoping he goes with Ella Rose, just for her. But the whole conflict with Vanessa, I'm not sure if that's going to be like the most intriguing option for him. And then this is kind of, I can't remember. I think the other tribe had mentioned something about Ella Rose, like her safety or something before, like after the last tribal, before. I don't know what exactly I'm referring to, but I feel like the other tribe had mentioned like if they thought she was going to be safe or something for like who had gotten voted out. So I don't know if that was like a teaser or something, but it kind of scared me.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about these blue tribe members. So where do you guys think Abigail's position in this tribe is? Are you seeing her playing this game strongly? We sort of talked about Abigail and Ella Rose as similar on the opposite sides. Would you compare her to Ella Rose's gameplay right now? Where do you think she lies in this tribe? She's the one who sort of voiced her opinions this episode of the potential route of splitting up. She was the one to say we could do this or we could do this next vote. Where do we think she lies?
I think honestly, I think Abigail is definitely a more, even though they're both kind of like quiet. I'm not going to say either one of them is a loud voice, but I do think Abigail's kind of a more dominant player, if that makes sense. I do think she's able to kind of call out what she needs to do, what other people need to do, and make a plan. I think she's very, very strategic, and that's a good thing. And then which is also a good thing, I think Ella Rose is more kind of laid back, chill, which isn't bad, just kind of like go with the flow and kind of adapt to what's going on at the time and kind of use what she sees to kind of you know change the situation, if that makes sense. I think she's very able to nonchalantly change the situation for what she actually wants. And so I think that's kind of the difference, is that Abigail is very hands-on. We need to do this, which it works a lot of the time, but I think Ella Rose is very more chill and quiet about it.
I think Abigail's in the best spot on Blue Tribe, pretty definitively for me, just because I think no matter what happens, even if Dylan, Ella Rose, and Vanessa team up, like I don't think Abigail's going to be the target. I think that she has a smaller reputation than someone like Ella Rose, but I think she's like just as capable, and so I think that she's set up really well for the short term and the long term as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Abigail is going to be pretty safe, at least until the merge. I think she's also good at like saying what she wants. Like, I think like just within the past few episodes, I think she's good at saying what she wants and making a plan for it to happen. Whereas Ella Rose is going to be like she's going to hear the plan and spin it somehow to favor her, but she's not necessarily going to like do the blueprints of it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about the Red Tribe. So we go to the beginning of the episode. It's sort of chill time. We see Sarah talking about falling twice in the challenge and sort of the positive nature of winning. We see Catalina sort of feeling on the up and up at this part, being like, we won, feeling good moving forward. And this is when we first see any sort of conflict. We see Stratton sort of call out Catalina's performance in the challenge as insignificant as it was. Anything is a reason to vote someone out. Let's talk a little bit about the Red Tribe, I guess, in this pre-merge part, and this pre-challenge part. Any thoughts while you guys were watching the episode?
No, yeah. I definitely think the very before the immunity challenge, it was very much like calm before the storm. I thought it was pretty funny how they were all just kind of sitting and just talking. I always honestly thinking about it, I feel bad for Catalina for thinking that she's in a decent spot. But anyway, we're not talking about that. I just think it's very interesting that they're just kind of all sitting there. They're not really strategizing. Because I would be strategizing, but maybe that's playing a little bit too hard. So maybe they're doing the right thing.
I was surprised there wasn't that much talking going on. They were kind of all just chilling, waiting for whatever was next. So that kind of surprised me that things were going on. It also seems like Catalina, not necessarily in the outs, but I didn't see her socializing as much as the rest of her tribe. So I think that was also something that kind of hurt her later on.
There was a small moment that I really enjoyed. I thought it was funny. It was when Chloe was having a confessional talking about how her and Sean worked together in her previous season, and then it did that quick flash to a clip from Sabotage Island, and they're both tiny, and Sean has his really spiky hair. It was just I laughed out loud. I thought it was really funny to kind of see that reminder of oh yeah, most of them played when they were 12 years old, and so I was entertained by that.
Yeah, totally. So talking a little bit about Catalina, and we'll get into all of the dynamics and why this vote happened. And honestly, partially how unlucky she is. If you saw her exit interview, I feel like I owe her an apology. We'll get into more of that after. But let's talk a little bit about her positioning. The culture of this tribe, as we said, is very strange. I would say the six of them are like extremely adept Survivor players. I would say it's a really good group of Survivor players. Even though some of them have chaotic tendencies, like they are all very, very willing and able to play the social and strategic game at a very high level. So we see sort of all of them in this culture of like calmness, where they don't go out and talk at the beginning round. They don't have individual conversations. I mean, I was editing this and it was like, how do you edit the vibes? Because it is only vibes. You know what I mean? Speaking of episode 2 of season 49, all the vibes. So do you think? I think an interesting point that I think Bella brought it up about how Catalina didn't really socialize and didn't make an effort to say certain things. Do you think that is part of the reason why she went home? Just at the end of the day, in those early moments when you aren't able to strategize, all you can get is vibes and personalities, and maybe because she contributed a little bit less to the conversation, probably in strategy, that ended up hurting her and making her an easy target.
Oh yeah. No, yeah. I think that happens like
For
all the
sure.
time. Like in Survivor as well. Like if you're just and it's sad. Like it's really bad for like introverts because like if you're just the person who decides not to speak and you have to take a while to open up, you usually are that first target. And so it does suck. But I mean like you kind of got to just suck it up for Survivor, man. I don't know.
And there were also a lot of past
Especially
relations.
because
Go for it, Bella. There's a delay,
especially
dog.
because like I could tell she felt like she was good, so she probably didn't feel like a need to like go above and beyond and like start strategizing or whatever. She had just come off a victory, but I guess she needed to in the end.
Yeah, and I think that there were a lot of like past relationships on the tribe that if Catalina were going to break through those, I think she would have needed to like work extra hard in building those relationships. Like Chloe and Sean and Stratton and Chase and Sarah. And so I think that I think there was potential for her to form a group, an alliance that wanted to keep her around. But she just like wasn't like going at it enough when it comes to building those relationships.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that like she also did kind of have like an informal alliance with Chloe and Sarah. Like she did, it's not like she didn't do anything. She was talking to Chloe and Sarah. Like so maybe in my mind, I think she was probably thinking that she did have some sort of protection, and she did. Sarah and Chloe did kind of fight for her for a little bit. Um, but it's just unfortunate. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I think Catalina, and we'll talk about this even more about the unlucky part, but she got a really, really bad tribe draw for herself. I mean, probably one of the worst combinations ever. She had the two people who voted her out, and then on top of that, she had a bunch of people who were just interconnected in some form. And she just did not have the relationships that everyone else did on the tribe going in to back it up. And I think that really at the end of the day hurt her significantly. And I think had she been on a tribe with one of like Gage or Vanessa or Anna, she would have been able to not be the like most obvious target just based on how she presents herself. So I really think she got a really, really bad draw in terms of her hand. And I think her strategy going in was to be super quiet and not strategic because in her first season, she got voted out for playing too hard too quick. But unfortunately, it was like sort of a nuanced thing that's very hard to see probably when you're there in the moment that, oh, these people, they have relationships. Like they already have done this with each other before. Like I need to put myself out there to like the nth degree. You know what I mean? And so I think that probably hurt her, and I think I imagine it was probably hard for her to see that day and fully understand the duality of it. Yeah. All right, well, let's get to the challenge. This was one of my favorite challenges of the season. What an absolute mess. I mean, we were filming that and I was just laughing. Like I was not like the first round you like when it's Chloe and Sarah versus Ella Rose and Vanessa. I mean, what an awesome group of four people just to start. But like they were doing this and this was the first time. We didn't even test this challenge. Like the polls were falling, which I had to like edit around, but like just seeing the four of them just like battle in a pool for a ring was like probably one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. And I was hosting it and I was just like cracking up. It was so funny. yeah, what did you guys take away from that challenge? I mean, Sally just absolutely dominated, but yeah, tell me more.
Well, first of all, I think I was laughing at you cracking up, Anna. First of all, I
Yeah.
was finding it so funny because like it would be funny just watch them tackle each other in the
Right.
water. But honestly, I think this competition, this challenge, it really just came down to who wanted it more, honestly. And I think with Sele already experiencing what it's like. Give me one sec, hold on. Oh, sorry. With Sele already just kind of experiencing like what it is like and how awful it is to be at tribal, I just do think they wanted it more, especially like Ella Rose. I could see the fire in her eyes to not go to tribal, honestly.
I thought this challenge was so good. It was just funny, like tackling people in the water, and I was thinking, like, just thinking, like, the Survivor. Like, they need to do more challenges that are like, I don't know, battling, like actually physically. I don't know because it was funny, and I think I don't know. I felt like the matchups weren't even like some of the matchups were uneven, but some of them were just like who's gonna grab the other person and like physically try to stop them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I miss these physical challenges in Real Survivor, so I was really excited to see it come up here. It's always fun to watch.
Yeah, I also like I think yeah, Survivor needs to learn like less is more. I think the challenges that
Mhm.
are just like simple point A to point B, one thing you need to do, I think those are honestly the most fun challenges to walk and not just like a relay race with a puzzle at the end every time.
Yes.
Totally.
There was also the round where you threw the ring and Sean started going and Dylan just, like he's like wasn't listening or like I don't know.
I have
That
a
was
funny
really
story for
funny.
that. Yeah, I have a funny story for that. That's a good one. First of all, just to talk about the challenge from like a producer standpoint, I really wanted just a pure physical challenge for those like opening and intro shots. Like those are the shots that like just like are like oh like tenacity
Yeah.
and like intensity and they're so fun. But I was like, how do I do one of those classic Survivor challenges, but no one like breaks their toe or gets their ankle pulled out. Like I'm thinking heroes versus villains. So I was like, okay, like the Millennials versus Gen X and Winners at War One is a really good example of a challenge that like you can't really get hurt on, but it's super physical. I mean, you could, but like I feel like it's pretty hard to get hurt on one of those challenges because you're in the water. So we ended up going with that, and I'll talk a little bit more about the producing. I'll just talk about the producing after, but I'll jump into the piece that you said first. So for the first shot we did this, what we had to do is I had to say, okay, I'm gonna say the audio bit. I'm gonna say, all right, survivors ready, go, and make sure you do not go on this take because this is the take that I'm just saying it for the audio bit because the actual take, the second take when we did this, we had the drone up in the air, right? So the second take, the audio would have been muffled and botched if I had said it there. So the first take was just to get the audio done. The second take was for the drone. And I would say it again, but we wouldn't use that audio because the drone would be in the way. So you see that one drone shot going. So that second take was the real one. So the second round, we didn't do that, and there was no drone in the air, obviously. And then two, I told the players, I was like, we're just doing the one take. When I say it the first time, go. I don't know if Dylan was like not listening when I said that or in the air, but he thought that the drone he thought it was the fake take to get the audio bit, and then the drone would come up and we'd shoot it, and yeah, Sean got the message. Dylan didn't, but I was like, "Do we start it over?" And I was like, "No, just like go, just go." And Dylan ends up taking it
It
anyway.
didn't
So
matter.
it didn't.
Yeah, exactly. I will
Those,
say
yeah,
I think my favorite part about the entire challenge was just watching Dylan manhandle Sean. It was the funniest part because I know Sean was butthurt about it and it was funny.
Yeah, and then Chase poking fun at Sean later when they got back
yeah,
to camp was good.
totally, yeah. Like maybe it was a little embarrassing, but you tried your best.
That would have hurt my ego.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think too because I mean I don't know if you can tell, but both of them are like huge. Like Sean benches like I don't know like double my body weight. Like he is
Yeah.
so strong. Like they're both just so incredibly strong. And imagine Gage in this challenge too. Gage is probably the
My
strongest in
God.
the whole cast. Imagine him there. I mean I don't even or like physically muscular at least.
Hmm.
That they would have with or without Gage, it was just gonna be over for Yara. I think unfortunately, but very interesting challenge. Talking a little bit more about the producing, this was like you would think that this challenge is super easy to make. This was one of the hardest challenges to make and design because I was like, so we shoot this on like a $1,500 budget. This season was shot on that much money, like completely made by like tips that I had made throughout like a work throughout waiting and busing in high school. And so I was like, we need to make this super cheap. And for this challenge, I was like, how do I get the part? So we got like an actual ring, and then we just taped it in electrical tape, so it had that cool look to it. And then the poles were so hard to make because I was like, how do you design a pole and get it to also stay in the water and then also like make it look Survivory? I wish I talked more about like the producing elements last episode. That's why I want to make sure just to add a little bit of context as we go. So we use like there were some old volleyball poles that we like found, and we what's the word? We took them down, and then we just taped like old bamboo that we had along the edges and tied random ropes and like cut up buffs and put them on for colors. But that was a super fun challenge to make. And then having to figure out how to weigh it underwater was really hard. We got like a bunch of like random weights that we got from random people to help us, and we had to put it together. But every time they jump and grab it, the pole falls, so we had to reset, and it was a pretty hard challenge. So we had someone on standby in a bathing suit to like jump in if they needed to help. One thing from this challenge that was so upsetting, I don't know if you look really closely at the ring, there is a GoPro in it. We put the electrical tape, and we tied the tape around a GoPro, and we press record, but for some reason the footage got corrupt and we couldn't get it, and I was like, no, it would have been the coolest shot.
That's tragic. That would have been so cool.
Right? It took so much planning to get that shot, but it's okay. You know, we had so many shots. This one was like totally over, like there were so many cameras, so it was super fun to shoot this challenge. Yeah, and I just had a blast. I was gonna say one more thing, but I can't remember. But yeah, super fun challenge. It was so fun just this season, just trying to find little ways to get props for the cheapest, like for the logs that they sit at Tribal Council. Like there's like this like log warehouse that gives away logs, or not warehouse, but area, and we got them and we took them, and just like little things like that are so fun to make and like have to design and stuff like that. So yeah. Go ahead.
And you said the budget was 1,500?
1,500.
Wait, that's actually crazy.
Yeah.
Including the winner prize.
Wow.
There's no way.
I do think the shot of Vanessa, because that's the one shot that I remember from the promo, was the shot of Vanessa like fighting for the ring.
Yeah.
So I definitely that it was definitely very, very good for like the promo as well. I think it was good.
Sweet.
I was sad we didn't get to see Chase just because he's had such like a nonchalant, like chill attitude. I really wanted to see him see what he would do when he had to just be like physical and aggressive.
Yeah.
We didn't get a chance to.
Maybe season 20 if we get there. I think Chase belongs on reality television someday, so hopefully we'll get to see that on maybe a real show too. All right, let's keep moving. Let's talk a little bit about afterwards. Dylan finds the idol. Dylan now has an idol. We talked about this a little bit. What does this change for this tribe? This is a huge shift in the power dynamics for the player who was just left out of the vote to have an idol, while the other alliances is sort of halfway split. Where does this put him? What should he do with this? What should he do with this information? What's the right move for Dylan here?
Well, first of all, this is the absolute best case scenario for Dylan. Dylan absolutely needed something like this. And I actually think it is the most like storyline, like the one who's at the bottom found it, the best person to find it for like driving the story found it. Like you couldn't write it better. And so I definitely think I think he's in a good spot. I definitely think, honestly, he should kind of let people know about it. Because honestly, especially with Survivor Palisades, it's always really hard to kind of keep an idol a secret, except for Queen Chloe. She's keeping her a secret. But I do think if he gives them knowledge of the fact that he has an idol, I do think it will scare them into not even voting for him. And he can take the idol.
Yeah, just to chime in super quick, this is the third person after Stratton and Chloe to find an idol with no one seeing them. I mean, that's pretty crazy stats that it happened both times. So, yeah.
I agree that he should make it.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It happens every time.
It's an audio delay thing. I think it's
go for it. Go.
Yeah.
I think he definitely needs to tell someone about it. Whoever he's like leaning towards working, he should tell them. And I was also confused how like no one knew, because I don't know, like every time I looked, the area looks so small. So every time like he looked around and there was no one around, I was like, what the heck? How did no one see him just grab this?
Yeah.
So it was good for him for not letting anyone see. And then whoever he's leaning towards working with, I think he needs to go ahead and show them just to solidify that alliance. Also, like it's seeming like who was I think Abigail was already kind of on to him. So I think he needs to go ahead and confess if he's like trying to strengthen bonds and like be honest going forward.
Yeah, definitely. Like they both already said it. Like the best move for him is to use it to build alliances. And so I think he needs to be public with it. To create those bonds, and then honestly, he could, if he maneuvers it right, he can build an alliance of 3 and then not even have to play it, which would be best case scenario.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a question. I forgot what the idol clue was, and then how did the idol clue connect with where it actually was? I need to know. I kind of assume it was something with the roots, but like,
yeah, so it was Golden Roots, Bloody Leaves. So if you go and look at the footage, we only have one person filming, so like when an idol happens, it's like obviously we don't have like that close up, and like it's hard to see the exact like measurements of what it looks like, but it's a plant with golden, like really golden roots, and then red leaves on top. So Golden Roots, Bloody Leaves. And a lot of people had checked there. What Dylan did is it was like fully hidden. He stuck his hand in and like grabbed around, and like it was fully submerged. So a lot of people had checked that bush. I did that because I was like, the clue is so obvious. Like, not obvious. Like, there's many places it could be, but it's so specific to the type of plant. I was like, I have to put it down, and he found it. Yeah. And yeah, speaking of that Storytell thing, I was standing right there. I distinctly remember standing right there. I was setting up the tribal, which is right behind the camp, and I was standing there, and the filmer was filming that. I think you can probably even see my feet in it for a second if you I cropped it a lot, but I'm in the very back there. And then Dylan grabs it, and then I go like, Dylan, can I interview you really quick? It was so funny. All right, so yeah, that was pretty much it from the Saleh tribe. We can talk about them a little bit at the end, but let's go to Yara. So they lose the challenge, and we get a sort of a funny bit of them all being like, we lost, we got bodied. Sean completely got handled Dylan completely handled Sean. That's one of my favorite lines from Stratton. And we see Chloe really sort of give us a lot of exposition of really how even this tribe is. As we said, they really are in a place that is really abnormal for Survivor. They're all really good players, and no one is standing out in a sort of like significantly poor light. So Chloe, just like everyone else, seemed to really be nervous about what was going to happen. Let's just talk a little bit about that tribe and the impeding moments.
They were really hesitant to like, which has kind of been consistent with them throughout both episodes so far, is they just like are really hesitant to like be the first person to say anything or to initiate those conversations, which I guess makes sense when you have a lot of players who are good and also like play kind of similarly. They want to hold their cards close to their chest, and so it like took a while to get the ball rolling.
And it's also like they haven't gone to tribal yet, especially. It's every time it's the first tribal, even like the first week of like Big Brother, like no one wants to call anyone out. People get called out for like the tiniest things. We saw that Catalina was getting called out for like not rolling over the thing in the first challenge.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie, when Strat said that, I was like, okay, come on. That's a little far fetched. But like just little things like that. It's just like you really can't do anything super crazy or super wrong. So I definitely think they were thinking like if they called someone out, then they would get called out for calling out someone first. So I think that's kind of what happened, and led to why no one was really talking about anything for a second.
Yeah, and to take a second for them to start talking, I remember you saying last week that it's not a lot of time in between like the challenges and tribals. So that just made everything feel like so rushed. Like there was conversations that I was kind of expecting to happen that did not happen. So I don't know if that was like a component, like them taking a little bit longer to get the ball rolling or whatnot.
And Chloe even said as much. She was like, I wanted to talk to Sean again before we left, and like she didn't really have that chance to go and maneuver like away from Catalina.
Do you think if Chloe was able to talk to Sean, they would have been able to sway? She could have been able to sway him and take out Stratton?
I don't. It's hard because like Sean was so like very clearly wanted to keep Stratton because they have that outside relationship, but also because Sean was saying that he wants to keep bigger players in as shields, which I think is very smart for Sean. So I don't know if he would have been able to be convinced away from voting out Catalina. I think the weaker link would have been for Sarah and Chloe to go after Chase and try to pull him over.
Mm-hmm.
I do think this is just, I'm going completely what if hypothetical here, just for the sake. What do you guys think would happen if it was a tie vote and they had to revote? What do you think? Like, do you think it would be a split and then it would be a rock draw, or do you think someone like Chase would like kind of just kind of go to the other side so there's no rock draw?
Mm-hmm. So the split would have been between the girls and the boys.
Yeah. It would
Okay,
have been
so
Catalina and Stratton. And so then Catalina and Stratton wouldn't be able to vote. And then it would be, I don't know. It might be a 2-2, or maybe Sean or Chase would switch. Or Chloe or Sarah would.
I feel like Catalina would still go home in that situation, just because if Chloe was trying to play with Sean, like be good with him, it wouldn't be good to go against him. Like going directly against him probably wouldn't be the move.
Yeah, and I think Chloe and Sarah already showed that they wanted to work with Catalina, but not enough to like put their games on the line. And so I don't think it would have happened. I think Catalina still would have gone.
Part of me wanted Chloe to use her idol on Catalina because I felt too bad. But
I was wondering if it was gonna happen, but
it would have not have been a good move, honestly.
no.
The game's too quick and too short. Like,
Yeah.
they're probably gonna merge soon. Like, it would not been good to play the idol on her.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit more about this tribe. So I'm going to get into the awkwardness of this round and like from the producer aspect, and part of what I said on the X interview about like, oh, poor Catalina, I feel so bad. But let's talk a little bit about Sean and Stratton. I remember the first week there was sort of this talk on this podcast about, oh, like Sean has so many connections, he's not going to have to stick his neck out for Stratton. He doesn't need to. I mean, Sean had a Boston Rob level pull on this one. Like, he got what he wanted, and he was very adamant about it. Were you guys surprised that he was so like gung ho on this plan? And also, do you guys think that was the right move for him? Where do you think that leaves him in this tribe?
I was very surprised that he wanted to keep Stratton, because I honestly thought, he's not in a bad spot without Stratton as well. But yeah, what was the second question? I just like blanked.
Do you think it was a good move? Where do you think that's going to put him?
Oh, yeah. No, I think it was definitely a good move for him, though. Like, the fact that he's able to keep Stratton, like, look at where he's at right now. The fact that Catalina's out, he literally has Chloe, Sarah, Stratton, and like, everyone is for him right now.
Yeah.
And so he might be in the best spot in the game right now.
I agree.
I don't think he made anyone too mad with Catalina. I'm sorry.
No,
Every time.
you follow up Baylor every time. I'll go out for you.
They're perfect. Yeah, a little triangle action. We got that.
Oh my gosh. I don't think Catalina going home is gonna make anybody too angry, honestly. Like, I don't think anyone was like going out their way to like work with her. And like, also they already have connections, so she was kind of already on an island by herself. And then what was your question exactly? I kind of forgot it.
Just sort of, where do you think this puts him in the tribe? Like, say Catalina had gone home. Do you think, you look at the tribe dynamics a little bit more, I guess. If Catalina goes home, Chase might be able to be pulled in with the three girls remaining because of Sarah, but Chloe also has this sort of connection with Sean that we talked about. Where do you think that would leave him? Do you think this was the right move? Do you think keeping Stratton right now is really good for his game?
I think it is, and if this still leaves him to get voted out later. I was really surprised Stratton stayed, honestly, because I remember last week I was like, oh yeah, if they go to tribal, Stratton is done for, but
Sean
apparently not.
Yeah, I thought there was going to be more of a push from Sarah and Chase even to get Stratton out, just because they just played with him. They started on a different tribe as him, and then he ended up winning. Like, I really thought that there was going to be more pressure from those two to be like, we need to get Stratton out. And so I thought that if that happened, Sean would have been like forced over, but like Chase just like buddied up with the two other guys, and there wasn't like any like urgency for getting out Stratton, and so they kind of went with the easiest option, I think.
I have a deep fear Chase is going to make it really far, make it to Final Four, Final Three, and then get no votes. I'm a little scared. I really need him to pick it up because I don't like watching him just in the background. I need him to make a move. It's kind of I don't want him to repeat. Whoa, what did I do?
Yeah, no, I said it last time. Chase is my pick for zero vote finalist. Like, I think he's a third. I think he's a third placer. Uh, no shade to Chase. I love Chase. I love what he brings. Um, but I don't know. I just don't see it for him. I don't see a combination for him at the end, and it's early to say that. Who knows? Maybe he's gonna shock me and bring out some crazy moves.
No, here's what's gonna happen. It's gonna be Stratton, Chase, and Anna at the final, and Stratton and Anna are gonna be like completely blindsided everyone, bitter jury, and then Chase is gonna win unanimously. That's
That would be iconic. We can hope.
That's his road to victories.
We're manifesting.
Yeah.
So speaking
That
of
would be crazy.
Sarah and Chase, was this the right move for Sarah in this instance and Chase in this instance? You know, Chase has this connection with the guys that maybe Sarah doesn't. Does it benefit Chase more? Or Sarah sort of talks about, you know, now that Gage is voted out, guys are sort of more of a minority, so maybe it makes sense for me to keep them around. Where do you think this leaves both of them?
I think it definitely benefits Chase more than Sarah. Just because, like, if Catalina would have stayed, then Sarah would have had her thing with Chase and then with the girls as well. Same with Chloe, like her relationship with Sean and then the girls. And so I think that Chase being with the guys makes it so that Sarah's potentially in trouble, especially if that tribe goes to tribal again. We know Chloe has her idol, so she's going to be safe. And so I think it could put Sarah in a difficult spot. But I don't think anything's guaranteed. But I definitely think it's more beneficial for Chase than it was for Sarah, which is shocking for me.
I was expecting like Chase and Sarah to go together, but I thought it was going to be more of like Sarah bringing in Chase to do whatever the girls wanted, not Sarah like siding with the guys.
Yeah. And honestly, we could have the hated Mergatory. That's definitely Survivor Palisades Mergatory. We could be having that in the next couple episodes. That might save a couple people. Maybe not.
Wait, you think that there'll be a Mergatory on Survivor Palisades?
I'm not going to put it past you.
That is an insult to me and my love for the team.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that one, Baylor. I don't.
Please no.
I would never. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
I'm gonna have too much self-respect.
That's so funny.
Anyway.
Anyways. All right, well, let's talk about Chloe. Chloe is, I would say, in an interesting position here. She has the idol, but she's also the last person to hear about this plan. I think out of everyone, she's the most hesitant. Part of that is because you see in Catalina's exit interview, Catalina's strategy was to stick by one person the entire round so no one could talk about her. And she did that with Chloe. And it was a very short round, which I'll talk about in a little. But where do you think this leaves Chloe?
I think it leaves her in like the most interesting, nuanced place. I don't really know because I think it really is just up to what she does in the position that she's in right now because she has a lot of options. I do think I'm a little scared she's not gonna I think she kind of got pushed a little by Sean to do what he wanted this episode. And so I'm scared he's gonna maybe do it again and she's just kind of gonna take it again. I do want her to start kind of pushing back on Sean and Chase and maybe even Sarah and start making like moves that actually benefit her because I think Catalina going home did not benefit her at all. I do think she's in a much worse spot in her tribe right now. But I mean, there's only like one more tribal till merge, and then the story changes. But for right now, I definitely do think this was mergatory. But yeah.
Go for it, Bella.
Okay. I don't want to interrupt anybody. Okay, remind me who you said we're talking about real quick.
Chloe.
Oh yeah. I mean she has her idol still, obviously, but I expected her to have more control than she does have right now. I think for her, like I don't think she needed to play her idol on Catalina, but if she could have done something to make it where it stays and Stratton would have went home instead, that would have been way better for her, just like opportunity wise. I know she said she wanted to talk to John and that never happened, so I still think there's still a good chance they end up making an alliance somehow that maybe is like kind of to the side that can be played more after the merge, but we'll just have to see.
I am going to be very intrigued to see what happens with this tribe if they go back again, because the guys do have the majority now, but then Chase is going to want to keep Sarah, and Sean is probably going to want to keep Chloe because they have those relationships, and so it's not going to be like a unified front with the guys. And they also, like, Sean isn't going to want to get rid of Stratton. And so I don't know. I don't really know what would happen. I think that without her idol, Chloe would definitely be in a lot of danger. But knowing that she has it, like, she'll be fine.
Yeah, honestly, I think the two people with idols right now are in the best, like very not the best, but like very very good positions at least right now. But idol is definitely helping both of them a lot right now. They both
Yeah.
needed it at the time. But yeah, I think also like no matter what happens next episode, whatever tribe loses, it's going to be an interesting tribal. It's going to be good because it's kind of set up for both of them to have
I
a
agree.
Mhm.
like a second round of chaos.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we jump into just the last few things here of player of the episode and then where we think we're gonna leave everyone, you saw on my exit interview press with Catalina talking about how bad I felt. I want to jump into this here again and say my second apology to Catalina. So just to give you guys context, we have two camps. I'm always at the camp where tribal council is because there's more people there, there's more production there. The tribal and camp team is separate than the tribal and challenge crew is separate than the camp crew. So they're like shot on different cameras. They understand things differently. They all have assistant directors watching them too, but I just have to be there for it to go through. So I wasn't able to be at the Yara camp while they were strategizing, which I probably should have been because it's very hard to like run a tribal council if you don't understand the social dynamics of it. So a lot of that was very difficult. And we were running an hour behind schedule at this point. So I was like, all right, to the assistant directors of that camp, I was like, we got to get this round done quickly. And they had been gone for like 30 to 35 minutes at this point. And I called, I was like, okay, you can end the round now, do their final interviews, have them come back. And I don't know how this happened, but their actual total runtime of strategizing was 8 minutes. They had 8 minutes to talk about this. 8 minutes, which is insane. So compared to Saleh had about 35, 40 last time, they had 8 minutes. And so let me talk about a little bit that. So how the rounds work is they go back to camp, they interview, they can't talk during interviews. Everyone has to get interviewed. Then they play, then they stop, then they get interviewed again. So it's fully equitable. You can't be strategizing while someone is in interview. So it's very fair like that. But what was kind of crazy about that is I think because everyone was, I don't know, changing clothes from the pool challenge, their opening interviews took like 20 minutes. And so they had very little time to actually strategize, which I did not know about. And that was totally an oversight on me to tell them to stop really quickly. I should have probably been there to see the storylines forming, and that's on me. But Catalina really did not get a fair share of time to flip the script. And you see her in her exit press, she like really started to realize things were going downhill right away. And I remember her saying, yeah, my plan going in was to play really not aggressive. And she says in her exit interview, like, I was playing way more aggressive than I planned that round because we had so little time and there was so little like basis to what we were doing. So I want to just apologize again to Catalina. I'm sorry that you got so little time. I don't know for sure if you had an extra 20 minutes or 15 minutes, if anything would have flipped. I can't say for sure. I think it would have been a lot more divisive between the power players, where they would have been a little more frustrated with each other. Would Chloe and Sarah still have caved? I think yes, but I can't say for sure. I think Sean was very, very convincing and also very, very good at mobilizing people without sort of like similar to how Ella Rose mobilized against Gage last vote. And I think it probably would have gone the same way. But I do want to say, Catalina, rest in peace. We miss you over here. And I think literally all the comments are just like rest in peace, Catalina. Like Catalina, if you're watching, we're very sad that you got voted out, myself included.
Catalina, you have fans. We're here for you. You have fans.
Yes.
We wanted you to go far, and we're happy you gave us what we love you. Catalina's the best. We were rooting for you.
Totally. Yeah. All right. So before we end the episode, let's just talk a little bit about our players of the week. So I forget who went first last week. Bella, why don't you start us off? Who is your player of the week this week?
Player of the week's gonna be Sean because he pretty much got everybody to vote Catalina and save Stratton, which I think this sets him up very favorably moving forward. He has a lot of different people who want to work with him and a lot of connections he can form. And I think he'll have no problem making it being safe next episode and then going into the merge. He'll be pretty much set.
Baylor, what do you think?
Yeah, I would say Sean, but just for the sake of difference, I'll say I think the second one is Dylan. I think he's the player of the week for me right now because he found an idol when he really needed it. He performed probably the best in the immunity challenge today. It was pretty funny watching him. Yeah, I would say Dylan. He's in a 100 times better spot than he was last episode. So, gotta give it to Dylan.
Even though he got manhandled by Dylan, I'm still going to say Sean is player of the week. He just, like Bella already said it all, like he set himself up perfectly. He got the outcome he wanted. He keeps his shield and Stratton in. He has his 3-person guys alliance. He has this relationship with Chloe on the side. I don't think anyone's going to target him next round. I think he's in the best position in the game.
All right, let's go through our final 10 now. Crazy, we're at 10 players left already. Insane. And let's just go through our system of saying very safe next episode, a little bit safe, could be at risk, and dead in the water, in danger. Let's start with Yara, Sean.
Very safe.
Safe.
Very safe. Safest.
Sarah.
In danger.
Yeah, I'm a little worried for her.
Yeah, definitely in
I'm
danger.
rooting for Sarah, but she's in danger.
Very much in danger.
What do you think puts her in danger?
Just, who has to go next? There's a boys' alliance. I think Chloe is just at the end of the day, she's closer with Sean and with the other people. She also has an idol that she would obviously use on herself. And even if, Chloe has an idol, let's say she wants to play it on Sarah, they can still split the votes. Like they have the numbers. Do they? Do they have the numbers? Am I stupid? Oh, never mind.
They can't split.
Yeah, my bad. Forget that. But Chloe does have an idol. I think Chloe's going to use the idol on herself before she uses it on Sarah. It would be an insane play if she uses it on Sarah and she outplays the boys. But I do think Sarah is just in a bad spot right now. But she's still a good player.
All right, let's look at...
Yeah,
go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, just with the boys' alliance and then Sean and Chloe, they're dynamic right now. I don't see her. Yeah. I think things could be bad for her.
Anything to add, Hunter?
I don't know, not really. Like, I think that I do think that Sarah and Chase are probably closer than Sean and Chloe, but I think that Chase is not really gonna push super hard. And if Sean wants to keep Chloe over Sarah, then it'll happen. So I think that Sarah's the most at risk over there.
All right, next up, Chloe.
Safe because of her idol.
Safe.
Yeah, the idol, she'll be fine.
Just to play devil's advocate a little bit, do you think there's a way that she wouldn't play the idol? Could you guys see a scenario? Do you think she's socially adept enough to realize when stuff's going down?
Yeah, I think that if she is the target, she will be aware of it and play the idol to save herself, or even just as a precaution, play it just to be safe. So I don't think she's going anywhere.
What I could see happening is if Chloe's the target, I could see the boys telling Chase telling Sarah, Sarah telling Chloe. I think I could see something like that happening.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next up, Chase.
I think he's fine.
Yeah, he's fine.
I think he's like next to Sarah, to be honest. I think it goes Sarah and then Chase right now. I think if it's not Sarah, it's Chase. I don't know.
Interesting.
Maybe I'm insane for thinking that. But I do think out of all the boys, he's at the lowest. And he might be lower than Chloe. Like strategically, socially. So
What do you think, Hunter?
I think he's fine because I think if one of the boys goes, it's going to be Stratton. I think that they have more, like, if they're going to be able to push it onto anyone, it'll be him. And I think that, I mean, not to talk about Stratton too early, but I think that Stratton is the most likely target of an idol play. And so I think that if a boy goes, it's going to be Stratton. But I said that last time and we were wrong. So
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, and then last on this drive is Stratton. Let's just for a second before we rank him. What are Stratton's intentions right now? What do you see him as a player? Like, where is he in this game? I feel like everyone else is pretty clear what they want and their desires, and Stratton's sort of basis for this vote was really just based off the challenge. Where do you think he like lies relationship wise in this drive? Is he doing enough, or is he not making the right efforts?
I think he's doing what he needs to. Like, I feel like whether he knows it or not, I think that what he needs to do right now is just survive. I think that he is leaning into the relationship with Sean, which is going to be very powerful for him. And he has the voice thing. And so I don't think there's really that much more he can do. Except, although he did have that thing that we didn't talk about where he like said at Tribal, where he's like, "Oh yeah, like I have these relationships on the other side that I would like to work with," which is a crazy thing to say.
Yeah.
And so maybe Chloe will be able to use that against him because she said that her ears perked up. And so I don't know. I don't know that he knows how much danger he is actually in, and I think even if he survives to emerge, like he won't last very long.
Awesome. Okay, we're gonna run through Sele super quick, just with a yes or no on the scale. Baylor, I know you have work in just a few moments.
We're good. We can.
But let's start with Vanessa. Where do you think Vanessa is moving on in this episode?
Danger.
Yeah. Danger,
I
unfortunately.
think she's danger.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Gage because I'm looking at the graphic. Rest in peace. And honestly, someone just sent me. My friend just sent me this, and it made me so sad. It was like it was a picture of Francesca and Catalina.
That is so evil.
I know. I'm poor Catalina got Francesca, and I love Francesca. I think bring her back again. I think Francesca deserves a season without Philip, just like Catalina deserves a season without Chloe and Sean, I guess.
No, I agree.
I think Catalina and Francesca have potential.
Yeah, you need to bring her back with just like a ton of duds so she can just steamroll and make her way to the end.
Big Brother 28.
Redemption Island.
Yeah. Redemption Island, exactly. All right,
Yeah.
Chloe. Oh wait, we're on. Sorry, Dylan.
Dylan, good, great position, very safe.
Which is a total 180 from where
Yes,
he's in a good spot.
the idol's doing wonders for him.
Yeah.
Ella Rose.
She could be in some danger.
I don't know.
In the middle for her?
What?
You guys feel in the middle?
For me, she's still safe. I think that she's not going home. I don't think that there is a very likely world where she's the target. So I think she's in a good spot for now.
Abigail.
I think she's also in a great position.
I think she's in. Yeah.
I think she's good.
Yeah.
All right, and then last but not least, someone we actually barely talked about on this, Anna. Anna has soared from a very high episode to getting quieter. What do we think about Anna here?
I'd say also in danger for the same reason Vanessa. I think that if someone goes home from that tribe, it's going to be either Vanessa or Anna, depending on kind of where Dylan sways. So I think also in danger.
I agree.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. If you have not checked out Catalina's exit interview, you should go watch it. Link in the description, or just go to our channel. We will be back next week with episode 3. No spoilers, but it is one of my favorite episodes of the season. As you said, we sort of hyped up these relationships. They're very, very fascinating on both tribes. There's really split divides and conflicts, and I think that's what makes Survivor so interesting, when there are like social relationship conflicts that are so strong. We see them on every tribe, and then we even see some of the people in these positions with extra elements of power, secret weapons, and I think it culminates in a really fun way next episode and continues to culminate the entire rest of the season. So we have a lot of fun Survivor ahead of us, a lot of relationship-driven Survivor. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Thank you, Hunter, Baylor, and Bella, and we'll be back next week. So see you guys later.